Hi, I'm Michael Hyatt from michaelhyatt.com and author of the New York Times bestseller platform, Get Noticed in a Noisy World. Welcome to Easy WordPress Setup. In this short video, I'm going to teach you how to launch a self-hosted WordPress blog in 20 minutes or less. And as a bonus, I'll show you how to write and publish your first blog post. You're not going to need any technical expertise. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to walk you through the process one step at a time. In essence, you'll be looking over my shoulder watching me do it on screen. Now, I'm not going to teach you what a self-hosted WordPress blog is. I'm assuming that you already know that, and if you don't, you can follow a link I've included in the notes below this video. It explains the differences between hosted and self-hosted WordPress. Let me just say in a word that the difference is about control. Self-hosted WordPress gives you more control over your blog, and it's what most serious bloggers use. It's what I use on my site at michaelhyatt.com. So let's get started. I've organized this tutorial around 7 steps. Step 1 is gather your resources. Here's what you're going to need to set up your self-hosted WordPress blog. You're going to need a domain name, in other words, a name for your blog. This is what people type in the address bar of their browser to get to your blog. You're going to need a credit card, and you're going to need to allocate about 20 minutes. That's it. In this tutorial, we're going to set up a blog called easywordpresssetup.com, which will eventually be the home for this video and some other resources I've planned for beginning bloggers. Which leads us to step 2. Now you need to set up a hosting account. A hosting account is where your blog will live. This is a server, in other words, a computer in the cloud, a remote computer, where you will rent space to install the WordPress software and manage your blog. And if that makes your eyes glaze over or you don't understand it, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just understand that this is where your blog is going to live, on somebody else's computer. Now, there's a lot of hosting services available, hundreds, maybe even thousands, but I recommend one, and the one I recommend is Bluehost, and I recommend it for 7 specific reasons. Reason number 1 is support. Bluehost has great 24/7 support via phone, email, or chat. And I've had a few opportunities to test it myself when I've had a problem, and they've always been quick, courteous, knowledgeable, terrific support. Reason number 2, reliability. Bluehost is super reliable. It has an uptime average of 99.9%. It's really as good as it gets. Reason number 3, ease of use. Bluehost is very easy to use, as you'll see. In fact, shockingly so. You'll wonder why you haven't set up a hosting service before now. Reason number 4, WordPress. WordPress only officially recommends 3 hosting services, and its number 1 choice is Bluehost. And Bluehost hosts over 850,000 WordPress blogs, so they've got a lot of experience, both deep and broad, with WordPress installations. Reason number 5, no limits. Bluehost offers unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited domains, that is, you can host multiple blogs on one account, and unlimited email accounts. Reason number 6, affordability. Bluehost is inexpensive, about $4.95 to $6.95 a month, depending on which plan you pick. And then reason number 7, values. In its terms of service, Bluehost prohibits pornography and other adult content. It strictly enforces this standard and deletes sites that violate it. And I like this because, frankly, it squares with my values. I don't want my blog sitting on the same server as some pornographer. And I don't know if you share that value. I'm not trying to impose mine on you, but I'm just saying if that's important to you, Bluehost is one of the few hosting services that has that standard and enforces it. In fact, I looked at the 4 most popular hosting services out there, and only Bluehost had this standard. So if that's important to you, Bluehost is a no-brainer. So to get to the site, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to michaelhyatt.com/Bluehost. And yes, that's an affiliate link. Which means Bluehost pays me a commission if you sign up through me. But the truth is that all the hosting services do that. I could have chosen any of them. Any of them would have been happy to pay me a commission for a sale. But the reason I recommend Bluehost is for all the 7 reasons that I gave just a moment ago. I would also mention that I don't use Bluehost for michaelhyatt.com. At this point, my site is just too big. My blog is running on 2 dedicated and mirrored servers. And Bluehost specializes in shared servers, not dedicated servers, so it doesn't really serve michaelhyatt.com. But I've got other sites running on Bluehost, and I've recommended it to hundreds of bloggers To my own family members, I've never had a single complaint. But keep in mind, Bluehost offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. In fact, it says here right on the home screen, the anytime money-back guarantee. And in its terms of service, it defines this as a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is written into their, as I said, terms of services. So there's really no risk on your part. Okay, so now let's go to the link at michaelhyatt.com/Bluehost. If you're following along, you should be on the Bluehost homepage. And all you've got to do to start is click on the Sign Up Now button. And that's going to give us two different options. We're going to choose the first option, which assumes that we haven't previously registered a domain. We're not using some other domain registration service. If you've previously registered a domain, for example, at GoDaddy.com, you'll want to pick the second option. I'm not going to cover that in this screencast today, but I will explain it below in the notes, and it requires an additional step to get set up. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to enter your domain name. So here I'm going to enter Easy WordPress Setup, and then I'm choosing the .com option. Click on the Next button, and Bluehost will search out and make sure that the name is free. And if you get this screen, it's available. And in fact, it says up here, the free domain you have requested, Easy WordPress Setup, is available. So here we're going to fill in our account information first. And fortunately for me, I'm using 1Password, which is a Chrome extension and a standalone program that stores all of my passwords. So I'm going to go up here. I'm blurring out the details for obvious reasons. Enter my master password. And then I'm going to go down here and grab my personal details. It did not enter my phone number because I don't use a standard one there. I'm going to enter the email address that I'm going to use for this account. And then I've got all that information entered in, and I just want to flip down or scroll down to the next part of the screen, which is the package information. And you can see here as you look at it that there are several packages: a 36-month price, a 24-month price, and a 12-month price. And it's obviously cheapest if you'll commit for the longest term. You can get Bluehost for as little as $4.95 a month. And here's what I recommend. If you're unsure, select the 12-month price. And that's what we're going to do in this particular example. It's more expensive, but you only have to commit for a year. If you are sure and you really are committed to this blogging thing, select the 24 or the 36-month price. It's the least expensive. But keep in mind, you're going to be required to pay for this in advance. That's how Bluehost is able to offer these super low prices. So just to kind of do the math for you, 12 months at $6.95 a month is going to be $83.40 per year, and that's $83.40 up front. 24 months at $5.95 a month is going to be $71.40 a year and $142.80 up front. And 36 months at $4.95 a month is going to be $59.40 a year and $178.20 up front. So I'm just trying to avoid some surprises on your part. I would not sign up for any of these other services. I would uncheck them. The only one I would consider is the domain Whois Privacy, which basically means that your billing address, if it's the same as your personal home address, will not be included in the domain registry, so people can't find it easily. But I use a different address altogether, a different billing address, so it doesn't matter to me. Then you're going to want to go down and fill out the billing information. Again, I'm using 1Password to make this really super simple for me. Again, I've blurred it out and obscured it so that for obvious reasons. Now you go down here and make sure you've clicked that you confirm you've read and agree to the terms of service, blah, 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 which of course not many people do, but you can if you want to. And then click on Next. And what Bluehost is going to do is going to be validating my credit card and doing all the kind of processing that it does, and it takes a few minutes. You just have to be patient. And there we go. And it's going to now try to upsell me. So it's asking me about additional domain names, which I'm not interested in at this time. It's going to ask me for a bunch of other services that I'm also not interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the order by clicking on the Complete button. And bam, it says, congratulations, your purchase was successful. A confirmation email will be sent to, and then it has my email address, which again I've blurred out. And then it says choose a password for your account. Before you can log into your account or use your new hosting features, you first need to create a secure password. So that's what we're going to do by clicking on this link. Okay, so now you have this screen where you have to set your password. I'm going to again use 1Password, which has a password generation feature that I really like and is really easy for me to use and comes up with some really convoluted ones, but it remembers them, so that's okay, but it's just more secure. And I'm going to enter that information in there. It tried to fill that in the verification PIN, and I'm going to enter a PIN number, which just makes it easy for me to access the account later with a support representative, and that could be any combination of digits. Notice it has to be digits. And so now all you have to do at this point is click the Submit button. And so now it's going to ask me to log into the account. So it's got my domain, easywordpresssetup.com, and I'm going to enter that password that I entered through 1Password a few moments ago, and I'm going to click Login. At the same time, I'm going to save this in 1Password. You don't have to worry about this unless you use 1Password. Okay, so now it's going to ask me some getting started questions. What is the primary purpose of your hosting account? You could put individual or personal. I'm going to put business. What is the name of your business? And in this case, I'm going to call it Easy WordPress Setup. Does the business target local customers? No. I'm sure they're asking this because they want to try to sell me some additional services later. What category best describes this business? Well, I'm going to go down here. I'm just looking here for the first time. We'll just call this a professional business services. What words or phrases would you use to search for your site on Google? Well, I would use WordPress. I would use, and I'm using a comma there, I would use setup. I would use beginner. And then click submit. So now it's logging me in to what's called the cPanel. So you've now completed step 2, which was to set up a hosting account. And you can go ahead and click off this welcome screen by clicking the links that says no thanks, I'm fine. Okay, that brings us to step 3, install WordPress. Now, don't be scared by this step. It's amazingly simple. It used to be complicated. You had to be a semi-geek to pull it off, but Bluehost makes it unbelievably simple. Trust me, anybody can do this. So what you want to do is you want to scroll down here to Site Builders to WordPress. Now this is, again, amazingly simple. You're going to click on the WordPress button, and now it's going to take us to the Install WordPress screen. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to just actually go down to the very bottom of the screen where it says Install, and we're going to click on that button. And this is a 4-step process for installing WordPress, and it's just answering these questions. Which version of WordPress would you like to install? You want to install the most recent stable version, which it defaults to. In my case, as I'm recording this, it's 3.4.1. Where would you like WordPress installed? And I'm not going to add anything, just leave this blank unless you have some kind of complicated installation, which you probably don't. You're going to go right to step 2, the advanced options. We do want to click here to display this, and we want to give our site a name. And whatever you're going to call your site, give it the name here. You can change this later, but go ahead and do it now. And then you're going to go ahead and assign a username and a password, and I don't recommend that you use admin. That's a common one, and that's one hackers will try to use if they want to hack your site. Don't get scared by that, but just give it a unique name, something that you would ordinarily use. In that case, I've got a password that I've memorized that I use that's complicated for my websites. And then automatically create a new database, that should be checked. Step 3, plugins and themes. You honestly don't need any of this. I'm sure these are paid promotional links, and I just scoot past them. Step 4, the legal information. I read the terms and conditions of the GPL v2 license agreement, whatever that is, and honestly, I haven't read it. I don't know many people that do read it, but if you feel comfortable, click complete. And so what this is doing, it tells you it's installing WordPress right up here. And you can see the progress meter as it goes through your site, and bam, there you are. You've actually got a WordPress site now installed. And it's giving you all this detailed information on what the site URL is, what the login URL is, and what the username and the password is. This brings us to step 4, which is to load your new blog. And all you're going to need to do is to click on the blog link, and it's going to open it in a new tab. There it is. Voila! Your new WordPress blog. This is what you should see, something similar to this. It may be a different photo, maybe a different theme by the time you do this, but this is the default theme that WordPress uses. And don't worry about it. You're going to be able to customize every aspect of this. There are thousands of themes available, and you can customize it to your heart's content. But notice that all the basics are there. You know, the post title, the post, the archives, the metadata, and all that, which brings us to step 5. I mean, we're really making progress now. You're going to log into WordPress, and you're going to go to this little link right here, and you're going to click on Enter. Now you're going to be looking at the WordPress login page. Now enter your username and password. Remember, we did these earlier, and if you don't remember, it's back on the Simple Scripts page where you've got your username and password. But go ahead and enter that here. By the way, it should have been emailed to you as well. And I want it to remember me, so I'm going to click on that, and then we're going to log in. And this is called the WordPress backend. And this is where you control every aspect of your WordPress blog. This is where you're going to write your posts. This is where you're going to add widgets. This is where you're going to modify your theme. This is the backend. The site that, or the part of it that other people see, is what's often referred to as the WordPress front end. That's the reader-facing part of the site. But here you are on the back end. And this brings us to step 6. We're going to write our first post. We're going to dismiss this welcome screen. Then we're going to write the first post by going over here to the menu. You can see all these different menu options here. And we're going to select Add New. And this gives us the new post screen. And the first thing we want to do is enter the title. And I'm going to give this the clever title of Welcome to My Blog. And then I'm going to type the post here. Now I've cheated a little bit because I've added some boilerplate text to Typinator, and so I'm just going to put a little shortcut that I've entered here, and that's going to expand to a full post. So I just wanted to keep you from waiting while I typed in all that by hand. And now you're going to click the Publish button. And what's happened is that this has actually published it to the front end of WordPress, the part that your readers can see, and you can see it by clicking on the Preview Changes button. So that's going to open a new tab, and there it is. Welcome to my blog. That's the very first post that we've written. So congratulations, you just published your first blog post. That leads us to step number 7, which is to bookmark your blog. In fact, I want you to save 2 bookmarks, the front end and the back end. And so right here, I would just go to Bookmarks, bookmark this page, and I'm going to save it in a folder called Blog, which you can see over here under Blog. And I'm going to save this just as Easy WordPress Setup, which is the name of my blog. And then I want to go back to this link, or to this tab, which is the back end, and I'm going to get rid of or go to the dashboard because that's actually the page that I want to open up with. And I'm going to save this by also going to Bookmarks, bookmark this page, and I'm going to call this Easy WordPress Setup -admin. So that's just what I use on all my sites to know what the back end is going to be. So I save it as done, and you can see here that in my blog folder, I've got those 2 links automatically bookmarked, which makes it very easy to either view my blog or get into the back end and compose a post or manipulate the theme or do whatever else I need to do. So that's about it. If you've followed my instructions, you now have your very own self-hosted WordPress blog. Congratulations. For more information about blogging and building your platform, visit my blog at michaelhyatt.com. Thanks.